Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Music Mondays podcast. I'm your host, Sam Slays. Welcome into my friends. Happy Monday. How we feeling? How we doing? What's cracking? This is episode 238, actually. We are moving up in the ranks, man. We are moving up in the ranks. But I'm your host, Sam Slays, and this is the Music Mondays podcast. We have a pretty stacked show for you guys here tonight, if I do say so myself. Mainly, we're going to be talking about the new summer event that actually got announced on Friday. We're going to be talking about weekly recap jazz. We're going to dive into recruiting and all that good stuff. And then, of course, we shall be getting into some reactions and reviews like always. So, alrighty, my friends, let's get into it. Ghost, what's good? How we feeling? What's cracking? What's cracking? Happy Monday, my friend. Let's get into it. Hope everything's well. So, first up, we're gonna talk weekly recap jazz, and then we're just gonna keep rolling with it. So, let's get into it. Per usual, Music Money's basic logo T-shirts are still available and in stock in limited quantities. Actually, we still have smalls, mediums, and larges. So make sure you send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email if you're interested in purchasing one of those. Obviously, United States shipping only, just so shipping costs aren't outrageous. And of course, $20 flat, including shipping. So again, send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email. Heading into Tuesday following the live show, every single Tuesday, the full high quality version of that night's episode does launch on our Patreon every single Tuesday. So again, if you remember the Music Money's Patreon, you have the ability to download, record it, and kind of clip it and do kind of whatever you want with it. So if you want access to the full quality version, that is available over there on our Patreon every single Tuesday. Heading into Wednesday, per usual, SoundCloud Sunday submissions do go live every single Wednesday. So again, make sure you're following us on your preferred social media so you can stay up to date when all of the SoundCloud Sunday submissions do go live. And again, that is every single Wednesday. And then we usually close out the day with some audio podcast promo on all of our social media. So again, make sure you follow us at All Music Mondays, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Blue Sky, Threads, pretty much everywhere that you are, we are there as well. Let's see here. So, heading into Thursday, last week we actually did community feedback number 25. That is our month-to-month segment where we kind of give the community a little bit of a voice and have them tell us what they'd like to see, not only on Music Mondays podcast, right, but on Music Mondays in general. So again, community feedback number 25 is available right now on the Music Mondays YouTube channel. Make sure you go show that some love. Heading into Thursday, per usual, episode 237 of the Music Mondays podcast is available on all audio platforms. That's Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, pretty much wherever you listen to podcasts. The Music Mondays podcast is available there. And a huge shout out to everybody that submitted and tuned in to episode 237. Let's get it, baby. That was Thursday. Heading into Friday, a brand new exclusive track was actually dropped on the Music Mondays YouTube channel only by the homie It's a Little Wet Jet. So definitely go check that out. Go show that some love. That's kind of like a super secret track, but that's only available on the Music Mondays YouTube channel. So definitely go check that out and go show that some love, baby. Then, of course, heading into Friday, we actually dropped a brand new article by the homie I Don't Know Young Jay. Jay actually wrote about some Nigerian underground artists that you should be paying attention to. So that's a fantastic piece, and definitely go show Jay in that brand new piece some love. Then actually we finished off Friday with the announcement of Battle of the Beats 2025. That is our brand new summer event that is live right now this month. And we'll actually be going into quite the detail about that today. But that is available right now on all of our social media if you want any more details on that. Let's see. So, heading into Saturday, episode 237 of the Music Mondays podcast is available right now on the Music Mondays YouTube channel. So again, if you're a person that actually prefers the Music Mondays podcast on YouTube, that does drop every single Saturday. And again, episode 237 is available right now on the Music Mondays YouTube channel. So huge shout out to everybody that submitted, tuned in, and showed love to episode 237. So, Heading into Sunday, actually, SoundCloud Sunday Volume 199 is available right now on the Music Monday SoundCloud. That is curated by me. That cover art was actually done by me. Huge shout out to everybody that did submit to SoundCloud Sunday Volume 199. One volume away from 200 is pretty fucking crazy. That is definitely fucking crazy. I won't lie to you, my friends. 200 volumes of SoundCloud Sunday. But again, submissions do go live every single Wednesday for SoundCloud Sunday, so make sure you go and pay attention to when those do drop. And of course, make sure you're sharing SoundCloud Sunday with all your friends, all your family, anybody who kind of enjoys niche underground music. Definitely go share that with your people for sure. But again, volume 199 is available right now on the Music Mondays SoundCloud. Then that takes us up till today, Monday. We're here live with the Music Mondays podcast, episode 238. And I'm your host, Tom Slate. So that's pretty much everything major that you missed over the course of the last week or so here at Music Mondays. But we're going to be diving into a lot of the details when it comes down to the nitty gritty. So let's continue. I'm chilling, making a beat for the album for mine and LaVary's. Let's Get It Ghost. I can't wait. Yeah, no, I'm very excited for the summer event, man. This is like 2 months in planning, and like you know, I'll go into a little bit more detail later here in a second, but yes, the event is finally live, so I'm excited. But let's continue. So what's coming on Music Mondays over the course of the next week or so? So obviously the summer event, like I just said, is live now, so we'll be taking care of that over the course of August. That'll run from this week all the way up until the first week of September. So again, that's going to be taking up a pretty big amount of the Music Mondays staff team's time, including my time as well. So August will be mainly about the summer event, but of course your monthly and weekly drops will be staying the same, right? Obviously the show's not changing. All the playlists will be staying the same. We're still going to be doing some of our YouTube series, and then of course 2 YouTube uploads per week. So nothing's changing on that front, but again, the event is underway, so that'll be something that we talk about here on the show pretty frequently up until the event is over, of course, right? So that's pretty much everything super major, because again, once this event is over, I think we're going to be rolling right into a new Music Mondays album for like early fall, and then Cyberfest 3, and then we have the Music Mondays Awards at the end of the year in December. So we still have like 3 or so more events kind of on the schedule. So once this beat tournament is kind of settled, that's kind of like what I'm thinking we dive into. But regardless, that's pretty much everything major coming over the course of the next week or so here at Music Mondays. So let's see here. So we spoke about weekly recap jazz. We spoke about what's coming on Music Mondays over the course of the next week or so. Let's talk recruiting. So per usual, Music Mondays is recruiting. We are on the hunt for all of our staff roles. That is writers, journalists, designers, curators. You want to do short form media, you want to do long form media, or anything like that. Definitely send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email, because again, we are recruiting. We're looking to fill in at least 2 or 3 more staff roles. It doesn't really matter what roles, but the team definitely needs a few more hands right now. So again, if you're interested in joining the Music Monday staff team, definitely let us know. Send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email. When it comes down to a resume, obviously preferred but not really required. If you're kind of somebody new who wants to dive into underground independent media, you don't really know where to start, we're definitely down to show some people the ropes. So again, if that interests you in any way, again, definitely send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email. And of course, I have a 2025 Music Monday staff role guide up on the YouTube channel right now, where I kind of break down the Music Monday staff roles in a little bit more detail. I kind of go over the scheduling, what your content's like, and things like that. So again, if you want those details, definitely go check that out. Or like I said, send us a message, send us a DM, or send us an email. So, recruiting jazz. Let's see. Outside of that, let's talk SoundCloud exclusives. So again, Music Mondays is on the hunt for SoundCloud exclusives. And again, we are only interested in unreleased material. So feel free to do whatever you want with the track afterwards. Whether you want to go do a music video for it, you want to go put it on streaming platforms or anything like that. But again, we are only interested in unreleased material. So if you'd like to have an unreleased track hosted and promoted on the Music Monday SoundCloud and across all of our social media for completely free, definitely let us know. Send us a message, send us a DM, and send us an email. Same goes for YouTube as well. If you want some YouTube audio hosted, you want a music video hosted, you want an AMV hosted, or anything like that, or even a music video, again, for completely free and hosted and promoted across all of our social media, definitely let us know. Send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email. And we are only interested in unreleased material, so feel free to do whatever you want with the track afterwards, but we're only interested in the exclusivity when it comes down to SoundCloud and YouTube, right? So If that interests you, send me a message, send Music Mondays a message, or drop us an email. So let's see here. That was exclusive jazz. That was recruiting jazz. We pretty much cranked through our content this week. So I think the big thing that we do have to discuss here is Battle of the Beats 2025. So this was something that I've been planning here on the show for, I think, close to 2 months. I think about a month and a half. It really took us to kind of come up with a format, gather up all the materials and things like that. But again, Battle of the Beats 2025 is live right now. So again, this is going to be a bracket style beat tournament. Signups are completely free. Signups are available all week. So we dropped signups last Friday, and then signups actually close this Friday, which is obviously the 15th at the time of this recording. So plenty of time to sign up and whatnot. But how this tournament pretty much works when it comes to, like, a long story short, Music Mondays has gathered a bunch of loops from producers that were nice enough to submit them for the tournament and have producers kind of use, right? So producers will be paired up with another producer in kind of a 1v1 style tournament, and you'll be handed a loop. You'll both have the same loop, and you'll both pretty much cook with that loop. And when you guys are done cooking, we'll take snippets and pretty much let the community go into voting. So we're going to be doing voting on Twitter and Instagram this time around. Usually we just do Twitter, but I figure we factor in Instagram as well and kind of tally up the votes. So that's how you'll be moving up the bracket when it comes down to a bracket style, right? So when it comes down to community voting, that's how you'll advance to the next round. Now, how many rounds we're going to have is going to be really dependent on how many people sign up. We already have 2+ signups at the moment, especially at this time. So that's already more than I expected in a couple of days. So make sure you go sign up right now. And how you do sign up is very simple. Again, completely free. But the only thing you need to be doing is either following Music Mondays on Twitter and Instagram. It doesn't really matter which one, as long as you're following us on either Twitter or Instagram. And then go ahead and join the Music Mondays Discord. And you'll be linked to a channel that is titled Battle of the Beats 2025, and all the information you need is right there in the Music Mondays Discord. Basically, all you need to do is drop your @handle that you do follow Music Mondays on, and you'll be good to go. So again, signups are free, pretty easy. The only thing that you got to do is make sure you join the Music Mondays Discord and drop your @handle that you do follow us at. So when it comes down to rules and how the upcoming weeks and voting is going to work, all that will be discussed in the coming weeks. Right now, we're just focused on signups and really trying to get everybody acquainted that does want to get involved, right? So today's only Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I think we'll probably close submissions around like Friday at like midnight Eastern Standard Time. So plenty of time to submit, and you'll be seeing us yap about this throughout the whole week, and you'll be seeing me talk about it here on the show as well. But again, signups do close on Friday, August 15th, so you have plenty of time to go drop your @handle and things like that. And again, it's not exclusive to Twitter or Instagram. Either one is fine. So just make sure you're following us on either platform, and then go drop your @handle in the Music Mondays Discord, and you'll be signed up for the tournament. So once signups end, I'll be cooking up the brackets, and then you guys will be notified of who you're facing, and you'll be handed a loop, and you'll basically have 5 days to cook with that loop. And then voting will take place over the course of 3 days. So for example, say you guys got your loop today on Monday, you would need to have that beat back by Friday. And then when Friday comes, voting goes live, and then voting closes on that Monday. So essentially 72-hour voting and a 5-day cooking period with each loop. So that's how each week is going to work. So round 1 will be next week, round 2 will be the following week, and then hopefully round 3 will be the first week of September. But that's, assuming that we do get enough signups, right? So we're really looking for at least 8. I know we're pushing towards like 3 or 4 right now, so we're about halfway there. Any more than 8 is going to be pretty easy, but 8 is going to really fill out the bracket pretty nicely. So I think 8 people is probably where we want to aim for. So again, you have all week to sign up, and once signups are closed, all you guys will be notified with your loops and things like that, and you'll be handed the same loop as your opponent as well. So completely even playing field. And then we'll have a bunch of rules and guidelines available for you in the Music Mondays Discord, and that's how that's going to go. So what's the point of all this? So we didn't really want to put up a cash prize for the first time because we didn't really know how this was going to go. So we came up with some prizes that were actually, somewhat decent, right? So you'll be getting, and this is a winner takes all kind of tournament, by the way. So there's no second place or third place or anything like that. So if you win first, you win all of these prizes. And the top 3 prizes that we picked were an exclusive front page interview on musicmondays.com, a 1-week free trial of the Music Mondays Patreon. So you can come over here and get all the Patreon perks and come submit your tracks for the Music Mondays podcast and get played first before everybody else. So those 2 things, and then along with your track being uploaded on the Music Mondays SoundCloud and the Music Mondays YouTube channel and promoted. So again, kind of a decent amount of prizes there, but we didn't really want to put cash up for the first time because we didn't really know how much interest this was going to garner. But hopefully everybody kind of has fun with it, and that's really the goal. You know what I mean? And then hopefully a lot of artists will kind of take note and want to work with a bunch of the producers, or maybe one of the beats actually gets placed and everybody kind of eats off of it and really has a good time. So that's really ultimately the point of it. But yeah, this will be taking place over the course of like 3 weeks. So this is why it took like a little bit of time to plan, and then we had to gather all the materials for it, right? So we had to gather all the loops, we had to really inform producers on the format and things like that. So that took a good month or so. You know what I mean? That definitely took a second to really put together, and I couldn't really like go ahead and explain that to you guys because we hadn't even like really figured out the format yet either. So that was like a big deal there. But I'm happy it's out now. And like I said, signups are available, and signups do close August 15th, 2025. So make sure you go get your signups in right now. Let's get it, baby. And of course, this will be uploaded on the Music Mondays YouTube channel. So if you have any more questions about Battle of the Beats or anything like that, definitely send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email. And of course, we do upload 2 times per week here on the channel. So every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and all that good jazz over there on the Music Mondays YouTube channel. Make sure you go show this video and the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. Alrighty, my friends. That was a pretty good rundown, to be honest with you. That was definitely a pretty good rundown. Say less, right? You get it. Yeah. My answer is way better than Twitter. Yeah, like I feel like some people have more juice on Twitter, some people have more juice on Instagram. So I figured it'd make more sense to try to combine it, and especially with the voting feature now being available on Instagram, I figured it'd probably make sense to use that. You know what I mean? So, I'm gonna do that now. Done it. Okay, I got you for sure. So again, we have like 4 signups. If we get 8, that's gonna fill out a really good bracket, and that'll be really fun. So that'll be the goal for us is kind of 8 or so heads, and then anything more than 8 is gonna be a piece of cake. That'll be great. But let's continue on here, my friends. So let's see here. I think it's that time. We actually had a really good discussion segment here. That was fantastic. We actually went over a lot there. That was very good. Very, very good. All right, my friends. Let's get down to business. I had to make sure my cat wasn't doing no crazy shit. But let's continue on here. So, like I said, it is about that time. Almost half hour talking. Hell yeah! No, that was definitely a good segment for sure. Because I couldn't wait to actually talk about the tournament. It was just one of those things where it was like, man, I couldn't really say much yet. I was like, oh yeah, we're playing this event. Da 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 da. Couldn't really give too much details because then you're just kind of like free popping the surprise, and things could always change too. So I'm not one to like kind of talk about things before they happen. I'm very big on like talking about things before, like while they're like set in like stone. But yes, let's get into it. So, you guys know the deal. Submissions are always in the same format every single week here on the show. The only thing that does change is the date. So again, make sure you're checking the date when you do submit for the Music Mondays podcast. Again, you'd be surprised at how many submissions we get for shows that have happened months or years ago or anything like that. So the only thing that does change is the date. Make sure you're submitting for a show that has not happened yet. Outside of that, they always read. Artists and creative submissions are open for live reviews on Music Mondays, live on August 11th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/SilentPlays, which is here and now. If you'd like to submit your music, artwork, fashion, or digital creation, drop your links and portfolios below. All art forms are welcome. So, per usual, contrary to our name, Music Mondays, we've reacted to pretty much everything here on the show. Everything from music, vocals, covers, instrumentals, acoustic covers, YouTube edits, photography, videography, music videos, poetry, you name it, we've reacted to it here on the show. So again, if you feel like you deserve some spotlight here on the Music Mondays podcast, feel free to submit anything down below. Outside of that, we do have a 3-hour show limit just to keep the show a little bit more palatable to watch back. You know, again, like I always say, one could argue that a 3-hour show does take a little while to watch back, but as opposed to some of our older shows when it comes down to 4, 5, and 6 hours, 3 hours is definitely a little bit easier to swallow, right? And of course, we're one of the only live shows here on Twitch every single Monday, so just to keep the show a little bit more of a higher quality, we do like to keep it to 3 hours. Outside of that, submissions are free. They always have been free. They always will be free. But outside of that, the only thing that we do ask is that you're following Music Mondays on Twitter before you do submit. Not only does that help spread our message and grow our platform, but that does pay respect to everybody else that does wait for their submissions to be reacted to every single week here on the show. So outside of that, also, you quite literally gain access to a whole community of wonderfully talented creatives. So kind of a win-win. Let's see. The next thing here, Patreon subscriber submissions are played first every single week here on the show. So again, if you're subscribed to the Music Mondays Patreon at any tier, whether that be basic, premium, or advanced, you gain access to a whole bunch of goodies, including early access content, but you also gain access to what is called the Music Mondays Fast Pass, which again, for the duration that you're pledged to the Music Mondays Patreon, allows for all of your submissions during that period to be played first here on the show before the rest of the community. So not only do you guarantee that your submissions are played, but you actually get played at the height of viewership. And of course, when people go and watch the show back, you're one of the first submissions that they do see. So kind of a little bit of an advantage there, right? For sure. Outside of that, one thing that we do got to note is submissions do close about a couple hours before the show starts, just to keep the show a little bit free flow. And again, we are a live show, so we like to keep to each submission in like a timely manner. So keep that in mind. A good rule of thumb is that if the show is already live, submissions do close. And again, submissions open every single Tuesday. So at the time of this recording, if you're watching this here live, submissions open for episode 239 tomorrow. If you're watching this anywhere else, submissions are already open for next week's show. So drop your links and portfolios below. If you want any more details when it comes down to the Music Mondays podcast, we do have a 2025 How to Submit to the Music Mondays podcast guide on the Music Mondays YouTube channel right now, where I kind of updated for this year. And I kind of break down a little bit more of the lore when it comes down to the Music Mondays podcast, why we take submissions on Twitter and things like that. So if that interests you, definitely go check that out. Let's see here. I think that's pretty much everything major, my friends. I think that's pretty much everything major. So let's see how many Patreons we have here tonight. I believe we have 2. And then the rest of the community submissions here. All right, so first up, I think we got the homie TDG first. Then we got the homie Jordan coming through the new music video. Okay. All right. I'm down with the cause. All right, let's get into it. So we're kicking off the show with a very talented hip hop artist, TDG, coming through with always been this. Always been always this. That's one hell of a title. My purest piece of soul and ears. Fully proud performance mixed by me. Brand new 2025. All right. TDG's been on quite the single run as of recently. Last week's submission was particular in TDG's kind of progression, right? Especially with like all the features and you know, just their single run as of recently has been really solid, to be honest with you. But um, this dropped quite literally a few days ago. So this is hot off the press. This is brand spanking new. All right, I'm down. Let's get into it. TDG, always been, always this.
Let's get a few facts straight, shall we? I just thought for a second this was worth it. I guess the lesson it should be more certain. Nothing will work till I change. Open up the curtains. But scared the sun will scorch it. I just thought for a second this was worth it. I guess the lesson it should be more certain. Nothing will change. Open up the curtains. But I'm scared that the sun will scorch it.
I just wanted to let you know.
I'm getting high cause I'm staying low. The shade of the darkness always grows. I'm getting high cause I'm staying low. The shade of darkness always grows. Shadows never overdose. Time zoom by on my death row. Life let me find hope that I'm alone. What shines always been fool's gold. This hole we all make the globe. I'm the beyond the point. I'm where no one goes. I'm the beyond the point. I'm where no one goes. Can't make a point. I know I'm wrong, but it's all I know. I just enjoy. Been stuck in fifth gear. Mine, I don't fit here. Wow, time fast and to live near. The edge is still clear, but I can't fight fear. But I can't fight fear. Trying to make impact. This and that. I wanna cross the map, but I don't go far. My steps dragged. Looking back, cause I want what I once had. Trust I don't love have. My control. I just love control. This ain't the end, it just begun. This little side, did you see some? Time is fun, but it creeps up. When you have fun, it speeds up. That okay, that okay. Yeah, it goes both ways. It will glow fade, it will go phase. It will be okay, but never goes away. Cause this pain is here to stay and at stake. Like this life we make, what do you create? Well, it's up to you, what do you got on your plate? Yeah, dark shade, but don't worry, the sun is on its way. I just thought for a second this was worth it. I guess the lesson it should be more certain. Nothing will work till I change, open up the curtains. But scared the sun scorch it. I just thought for a second this was worth it. I guess the lesson it should be more certain. Nothing will work till I change, open up the curtains. But scared the sun scorch it. I just thought for a second this was worth it. I guess the lesson it should be more certain. Nothing will change till I open up the curtains. But I'm scared that the sun will scorch it. I'm getting high cause I'm staying.
Wow. Yeah, you know, back to the caption, I really see what TDG means here. My purest piece of my soul and ears. Yeah, no, that was one where there was a lot of lines that just stick out, you know, especially like the you know, having fun and time passing by faster, you know. There was like a few lines there that really stuck out to me, but fantastic. I like this one a lot. And again, it kind of puts a little bit more emphasis on what I was talking about earlier with their single journey and just kind of improving their craft from like all angles, you know what I mean? So, well done. Well done. And I agree, Ghost. I agree. Definitely it'll be fun. It'll definitely be fun. But you guys know the drill, man. Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's get into it. So, this cover is actually really solid too. Wow. Um, let's talk about it. So we're gonna talk about three things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental. We're gonna talk about vocals. We're gonna talk about the overall theme of Always Been, Always This. So instrumental, Prod TDG, of course, definitely has a good like boom bap classic flavor, but it definitely has a little bit of like darkness to it as well. Um, so it really almost brings like a little bit of like somewhat of like a Memphis kind of feel as well. It has a little bit of a grit to it, and I think it's really well put together. But the mix is solid. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. Nothing I would like ultimately change on this. Vocals sit nice. Sound selection is great. Everything matches. Levels were solid. Nothing that I would like really gripe about on this, especially when it comes down to production in general, right? Yeah, so instrumental mix definitely up there. Instrumental shining star on the other hand though, probably the melodies. I feel like the melodies brought a big mood here that was like it was almost like filling the room, you know, like it really kind of sits with you a little bit, you know. I think the melodies here were very interesting to me for sure. But drums and structure is probably like a good like close second. But let's go melodies on this one. So instrumental solid. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix again, fantastic. And you know when it comes down to not only just the quality, but now TDG is starting to do a little bit more, you know, effects usage, kind of like dabbling in seeing what they can actually do with their vocals, right? And that's where I feel like a lot of artists kind of separate themselves from like, you know, the average artist, right? You're kind of doing the small things with your vocals. You're kind of like playing with it and seeing what really sounds sick at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So vocal mix definitely solid. Nothing to really gripe about here. Levels were good. Quality was good. Nothing clashy to overbearing. I thought the drums cut through nicely. I thought pretty much everything about it like really fit the instrumental. So yeah, no, no gripes with the vocal mix. No way. So vocal mix solid. Vocal shining star. Hmm. Hmm. You know, I really like structure. I'm not gonna lie. I really like structure a lot. But the writing and lyrics are up there too. Hmm. I just like the way how the song like progresses in terms of structure, you know, and like how the verses are laid out, and you know, like even the outro is really solid. Hmm. Let's go structure, but I feel like writing and lyrics are like a close second. But I'm gonna go structure on this one for sure. So, instrumental solid, definitely the melodies. Vocal solid, definitely structure. Let's talk theme, aesthetics. Probably one of my favorite TDG covers in terms of like how a song really feels, you know, and that's why like that whole darkness feel that I was talking about like literally a second ago. This kind of really feels like that flavor to me. So definitely an appropriate cover for sure. And then I really like the font too. Always been this. Always been always this in the top left, and then just like TDG in the chair, and it's almost like raining, and it's just like you can tell it's like on a porch, but it's like not really on a porch. You know what I mean? So one of those very interesting covers, but I definitely do feel like it matches the overall feel of the track. That's for sure. So aesthetics on point. Um, overall theme. You know, TDG touched on a lot of things, but there was a lot of like emotion grabbing lines that I feel like everybody feels at least once in their life. Especially the one that just immediately stuck out to me was the passing time while you're having fun. It like how it goes by faster. I feel like that was a very specific kind of line. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to be like in the moment to really write something like that or even think about it. So um you could kind of grab a few themes from this, but all in all, it's almost like nostalgic, but it's still very emotional at the same time. So I feel like TDD definitely was accurate in talking about how it's a pure song, and it's definitely from the heart. That's for sure. So well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to TDG. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify, by the way, and of course, make sure you go follow TDG on Twitter over here. They are 2 followers away from 160. Just make sure you go show them some love on the Bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. I think we're about like 8 away or so. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, underground tips and tricks. A whole lot of good stuff is over there on the channel, so make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love. Let's get it, baby. That was really solid, not gonna lie. Yeah, TDG has been really improving for sure. Slowly but surely, like it's one of those things where, you can tell he's chipping away at the mix, he's chipping away at the delivery and the writing and just so many other things, because his production's always been on point, but really headed in like the right direction now, that's for sure. That's a fact. So, last but certainly not least, our final Patreon of the night, the homie Jordan. Now, again, Jordan, coming off of their recent release, Not Now, I'm Busy, they've been pumping out music videos like a madman. And they actually had all these prepped before the even album dropped. And, Jordan was just been on a run recently this summer. I think this is like their fifth or fourth music video so far for this project. But again, Jordan, a very talented alternative hip hop producer, engineer, writer, designer, all of the above, has submitted Just Between Us official music video. I'm down. I'm down, I'm down, I'm down. Let's pop it open. All right, hold up. Give us a quick pause, Rooney here. Go 1080 now. Let's go 720 just because we're streaming. Don't want to drop any frames or anything like that. Go full volume here. Creds in the description per usual. Love that. Simple, but again, very effective credits. But I'm down. Let's get into it. Just Between Us, Jordan official music video. Let's go. This one is just creative, man.
Don't get between me and this vision. Tell me God what should be different. Act a lot like I'm indifferent. Have to stop with all this wishing. Let my pride push me this distance. Because of what you saw, it's gonna be hard to seek forgiveness. You know I'm flawed. There's no way for me to spin this. Learn to live with my decisions. Can't slip on my convictions. I hope you understand me. Could you tell me if you didn't? There's something that I can't see. Keeps causing me this feeling that it's gone. I close my eyes to see the vision. Turn off lights, relief some tension. Open my eyes, nothing is given. Bad dreams make me the villain. What do you mean? Are you kidding? Can I rest with your permission? I close my eyes for just a minute and then it's gone.
Crazy.
And then it's gone. Oh Lord, I'm flawed.
Sample's great.
Yeah. A tree falls deep in the woods, no observation. Some seeds don't grow like they should. Some break through pavement. Use a past and still ain't learned how to make it perfect. The mirror asking if nobody heard. Does that defeat the purpose? Guess for air one more time before I dive beneath the surface. I've been searching for myself with my obsession with what's worth it. So working once I felt like I had finally found the verbiage. When I find out how to word it. Yeah. When I speak my mind, sometimes I get too wordy. Sometimes I just pretend that it's working, pretend that you heard me. It's all okay. Need one of those better days pretty soon. Have a whole head of grays. This broke shit's just a phase. This broken fix my face. You never know. You'll never know until it hits the page. Please be patient. A tree falls deep in the woods, no observation. Some seeds don't grow like they should. Some break through pavement. I close my eyes for just a minute and then it's gone.
Fuck.
Oh Lord, I'm flawed. I close my eyes for just a minute and then it's gone. And then it's gone. And I'm gone.
The panning is crazy. The panning is so crazy. That one is so like classically done, but it's so effective. Something like that is just it's creative, but it's so simple at the same time. But it depends on how it's filmed, right? And I feel like that's where Jordan kind of nailed it, is because like you could do a mirror video like that and it'd be like, nah, you know what I mean? Like it depends on how you film it, and I feel like Jordan fucking nailed it, like absolutely fucking nailed it there. Um, so let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Um, we're gonna talk about three things. Ending was great. I agree, Ghost, for sure. We're talking about three things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, we're talking about vocals, and we're gonna talk about the official music video for Just Between Us. So, instrumental. You know, I feel like this whole project and everything that we've reacted to thus far, especially when it comes down to the visuals and the music videos, and even the unreleased at the time, um, the mix has just been outstanding. Like it's quite literally insane. Like everything has been on point, everything hits correctly, levels are good, quality's good. Like even strictly production wise, I feel like the mix has been very much on point. So with just between us, it very much falls on that same kind of line for me. That's one thing that you could say about Not Now I'm Busy and a lot of the previous tracks that we've reacted to is that even if it's not your flavor, like you can definitely say that it's consistent across the board for sure. So when it comes down to that, instrumental mix is definitely solid. Nothing super clashy to overbearing. Nothing I would like ultimately change on this at all. Um, yeah, sound selection was great. Jordan's vocals sound good. Sample was really well utilized, but it wasn't like overdone. Um, yeah, nothing that I would like ultimately gripe about at all. So, instrumental mix definitely solid. Instrumental Shining Star though, I love the sample as the hook. I love when producers do that. I love when artists do that, where they find a sample, but they don't overdo it, and it's either used as like a hook or it's used as maybe a bridge or something else of that nature, right? I mean, Ghost has done that plenty of times here on the show, so that's one of those things where I'm a sucker for. So, man, it's kind of hard not to say the sample, but at the same time, the drums are really solid, and the structure's up there too. So, hmm, drums are up there though, especially like the sound selection on the drums. But, mm, you know what? Yeah, let's go drums. Let's go drums. Just because I feel like they're underrated, because the sample is solid, but let's go drums on this one. So, instrumental solid. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix, much like the instrumental, and a lot of the vocal tracks on the full project has just really been ultimately, if anything, very consistent, especially in terms of quality, levels. Nothing like sounds weird or anything like that, but there is still plenty of variety in the vocals. You get many forms of Jordan throughout this whole project, and Just Between Us kind of hits that nice middle ground of like pure, crispy Jordan where they're just like really stating some real shit. So, as far as the vocal mix goes, definitely super solid. Nothing like super clashy to overbearing. Drums cut through nicely. Sample works well with the vocals. Nothing that I would like really change about this at all, to be honest with you. Um, so vocal mix definitely right where it needs to be, 100%, just like pretty much everything we've reacted to here on this project. Vocal Shining Star. Um, you know, flowed cadence and delivery is really up there, but I think we're gonna go writing and lyrics. Again, this felt like a very personal track from Jordan, so let's go writing and lyrics on this one, 100%. So instrumental solid, definitely drums, vocal solid, definitely the writing and lyrics. Let's talk about the official music video for Just Between Us. So, like I said off rip, right? This is a concept where I feel like if you did it wrong, it could be really weird. But Jordan really took their editing sauce and their skill and their kind of creative vision, because Jordan has a very good eye for certain things like this. Because again, in your head and like the average person's head, it's a very like simple kind of concept. But when it comes down to what Jordan did, the cutting, the clipping, the lighting, and almost like the filter here, it stands out, and it makes you focus, but it's not like ultimately too distracting. You know what I mean? So it's a really good version of like a DIY video that's again very creative and not something you see a lot, especially like properly done. So I feel like it's a really good example of that, just kind of using your imagination a little bit. Of course, you can do plenty of other ideas that, are different, right? But if you wanted to do some like at home shit and you had a setup like this or even something different, maybe you might not do a mirror. Maybe you might do, like a double angle where you like film two angles and it looks like, you're sitting next to like yourself or something like that. You know what I mean? Like a lot of those concepts are really cool. And that's where I feel like Jordan was really using their head here. So I like that a lot. And then even then, I'm going to go as far as to say like the shining star for this is the concept. You know, the editing's like a close second because the editing's like a lot of this muscle here. But I feel like if you didn't have like the right concept in your mind and like how to execute it, this would kind of come out a little bit different and maybe not as cool. But I feel like Jordan really nailed this one in terms of like a creative vision kind of way, you know? So well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to the homie Jordan. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you go follow them and subscribe on YouTube. They're 8 subs away from 50. And of course, make sure you go follow Jordan on Twitter now. They're only 8 followers away from 430. Make sure you go show them some love on the bird at my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload, my friends. Of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We are quite literally approaching 330 subscribers on the Music Mondays YouTube channel. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. So make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. And if you already have, by the way, thank you. We appreciate you here, my friends. Let's get it. Right. Continuing on. That is the last of our Music Mondays Patrons of the night. So huge shout out to all of our current Music Mondays Patrons. Huge shout out to homie Jordan, TDG, Laveries, King Mark, Ryuki, Kruger. All you guys are fucking fantastic. Thank you very much for supporting Music Mondays over there on Patreon. All right. So, you guys know the deal, man. We're just going to go from top to bottom. And, of course, we're going to kick off the night with the homie, Lucha Libro, a very talented multi-genre artist, has came through with a brand new track for 2025. All right. Lucha Tronica. Okay, this is definitely about to be some electronic shit. This is going to be interesting because Lucha Libro has just been, you know, really kind of exploring the genre blending, if you will, as of recently. And this actually dropped a couple days ago as well. So this is literally hot off the press. All right, I'm down. Brand new Lucha Libro. Let's get into it. Oh, shit. We are bopping. This is some real underground club shit right here. It's already a vibe. Yeah, no, literally. It's like one of those clubs in like GTA or something. Shit. Damn, Lucha, shit, okay. I fuck with this? Yeah, this is crazy. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. This is a club heater right here. Um, impressive, impressive, impressive. Wow. I was not expecting that. And Lucha, obviously, we've heard production from them here or there, but nothing like this. You know what I mean? Definitely nothing like this. Yeah, no, I totally agree, Ghost. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, well done, well done. I was not aware of your game, my friend. I was not aware of your game. Well done. Um, let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's get into it. So, obviously, no vocals. So we're gonna be talking about two things here. We're gonna be talking about the instrumental, and we're gonna talk about the overall theme of this track. Uh, hmm. So instrumental mix, actually really solid, especially with it having like a little bit of that like lucha kind of grit to it as well. Like some of the melodies in there were like a little bit gritty. Some of the, you know, smaller parts just had that lucha libre kind of flavor to it, but ultimately a really solid mix. Levers were good. Nothing that I would like really ultimately change on this one, especially for it being the type of instrumental that it is, right? Sometimes they can be weird to mix, and sometimes the synths are off or the melodies are weird, or how it goes. Sometimes shit's just weird, but I feel like Lucha definitely nailed it when it came down to this one, that's for sure. So instrumental mix solid, instrumental shining star. It's got to be the melodies, right? I mean, the drums are there, they definitely keep up the pace and the rhythm, but I think we're gonna go melodies here. The melodies were very like underground 90s club kind of vibe, but still like a very modern house kind of feel too. So it was a little bit of a genre blend up there for sure. But I'm gonna go with the melodies, definitely. So instrumental solid, definitely melodies. Let's talk theme. So aesthetics. Official cover. Lucha going for like the double sided it's so weird. I was just talking about doing like a visual like this, but the double sided kind of face cover is always really solid, Kind of blur the background, you got the Lucha Libre logo top mid, the title in the middle in general. Yeah, especially for a single man, totally nailed it. Totally nailed it. And then like adding like the yellow border, always a plus. You guys know how I feel about that. Again, you don't have to be like consistent with all of your releases, but when you are, it actually comes out pretty sick. And I think Lucha Libre does a good job with that for sure. So, um, as far as aesthetics go, definitely on point. Um, overall theme, it definitely gave a good like electronic like underground club kind of vibe for sure. I feel like Lucha Libre definitely nailed it when it came down to that. So it's definitely one of the ones that's more like fast paced and upbeat. But usually Lucha Libre is kind of moving in that direction anyway, especially with their more like alternative releases. So I feel like it definitely fits the Lucha Libre mold here, but it still keeps the grit for sure. So, well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to Lucha Libre. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify, by the way, and of course, make sure you go follow Lucha Libre on Twitter. They are one follower away from 140, so make sure you go show them some love on the Bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good jazzes over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love. Let's get it. That's a W submission. We got Pez in the chat. Let's get it, baby. What's cracking? I hope you're well. Happy Monday. Let's go. He smashed it. I agree. But that one Hank image from Breaking Bad. Oh shit. So we left off with the homie Lucha Libre. Up next would be the homie TDG, but we've already reacted to TDG earlier in the show because they are Music Mondays Patreon. Make sure you go check out the beginning of episode 238 and make sure you go show TDG some love. Let's go. All right, so following TDG, up next is a first-time submitting artist by the name of Spooky Peter. Hello, I'm Spooky Peter. I've been producing for about a year and a half now, and I've been posting a beat on YouTube every day or weekly since. Love that. Good for you, my friend. Let's go. Keep that consistency up, for sure. So first-time submitting artist, the homie Peter. All right, I'm down. I'm down. All right, so we don't know exactly what to expect here. So we'll keep an open mind and we'll see what we get. 11 days ago. Actually, hold on. Let me slide into the Music Mondays YouTube channel. Let me switch a Rooney here, chat. But yeah, again, first time submitting artist, so don't really know what to expect. So we'll have to see. 11 days ago, so brand new. Get the link tree in description, bit of tags and whatnot. So quite literally brand new. So I'm down. Let's get into it. Spooky Peter 222 Unlovable official audio. Let's go. Holy shit. Gutter is fire.
It's not as if you were a maniac raving things. She needs me.
Whoa. Little shorty but goody. Okay. Shout out Spooky Peter, man. That was fantastic. You know, I love when producers go out of their way to kind of release instrumentals as singles. You know, there's always like two types of prods in the underground, and some of them are just like super tight beat heavy, and then some of them like actually treat themselves like an artist and actually like release their own instrumentals as official releases, which, you know, we see a lot here on the show, and Spooky Peter kind of falls right in line with that. So super well done. Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's get into it. So we're gonna talk about three things here. Or no, actually, scratch that, because no vocals, obviously. So we're going to be talking about two things. We're going to be talking about the instrumental and talk about the overall theme of Unlovable. So, instrumental, really solid, to be honest with you. I really love how everything hits. There isn't really too many things that I could gripe about here, you know, and everything's nice and loud, but it's not like overbearing or anything like that. I don't feel like anything's like super clashy or anything, you know. Like for me, it was enjoyable for sure, especially for like a first time submission, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where super fucking solid. Sound selection was good, you know. Even like the sample was like really well utilized. Nothing that I could like ultimately gripe about here. So instrumental mix definitely solid for where it's at. Instrumental shining star. Hmm. Hmm. Um, you know, I do like the structure a lot. Drums are up there. Hmm. You know, let's go structure on this one just because I really like how the sample is used. Let's go structure, especially clocking in at like a minute 23. There's like no time fucking wasted on this like whatsoever. So yeah, let's go structure on this one. Let's go structure for sure. So instrumental solid, definitely structure. Let's talk theme. Aesthetics. So again, kind of giving this like almost like early 2000s kind of vibe, but like maybe like a little bit more grittier. Cover within a cover is always a good play. Spooky Peter bottom mid. It's that skull that kind of gives me that like Y2K, like some sort of like weird feel like that. And then the text is always like a good touch, and then Unlovable top mid. Yeah, no, for a single, I really like this one, and it has like the same like brightness that the instrumental does. So I feel like, you know, Color-wise, I feel like it was a good direction. Overall theme, again, you know, I'm a big fan of producers that actually like kind of put a little bit more effort behind their releases or release instrumentals on their own, or kind of, you know, release instrumental projects, or you know, they kind of treat themselves like an artist, right? Because even though, you know, maybe you might not do vocals, that's not really a big deal. Like, you can still treat yourself like an artist because you are an artist, right? So when it comes down to your releases and certain instrumentals that you want to release on their own, I feel like this is a really good way to go about it. You know what I mean? And of course, you could always have like, your beat store on the side, or you could always have like the other shit like going, right? But this is definitely a really good way to get your like creative juices out for sure. So well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to Spooky Peter. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you go subscribe to Spooky Peter, because now they're only 4 subs away from 170. Make sure you go show him some love on the tube, and of course, make sure you go follow Peter on Twitter. They're only 9 followers away from 10. This is a brand new Twitter account, so make sure you go show him some love. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. So make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. If you already have, thank you. We appreciate you here at Music Mondays. Well done, my friends. Well done. A very solid first-time submission. Shout out to the homie Peter, man. Alrighty, my friends. You guys know the dealio. That was cool. And then it's me who doesn't do either. You ever play the Reese Bass 15? You should be able to like just play the VOD back right now from like my channel. Are you from Philly? Close to it. I'm from Massachusetts. So like Philly's like a stone throw away. Say like Philly's probably like 10, 15 hours drive or something like that. But very close though. But yeah, not exactly like from Philly. But you guys know the dealio. So let's see here. We left off with the homie Peter. Up next is the homie Wormwood Noah. Now, Noah has been coming through with some crazy fucking submissions as of recently. Their last couple have been really well thought out and just super well written. But this week they came through with Spirit of the Spouts. And Wormwood, obviously being a very talented multi-genre artist, said in their description, "Thanks, y'all. Here's a song with my friend Aker, one of the most in-depth thinkers and most talented people I know. The song's title and hook are a reference to the nursery rhyme Itsy Bitsy Spider, except we're the spiders and life is the spout. Spirit of the Spouts." Okay, I get it. I see you. Are you from Philly because you got baseball on the side? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, you're right. Like, if you're a Philly fan, that's crazy. I'm a Braves fan that's supposed to exile y'all. Yeah, no, I feel you, Pez. I feel you. For sure. Let's see. So let's pop in Wormwood, and let's see what we got over here in a new tab of Rooney. Here's a quick pause. We got the homie Aker. All right. Been a couple of weeks and we heard from the homie Wormwood Noah. Oh, this is off Mirth. Okay, yeah, because we did, I think we did Tread Hill like a couple of weeks ago or something like that. And then Spirit of the Spout is what we're doing today, which is the last track on the project. Okay. I'm down. Wormwood Noah, Spirit of the Spout, let's go.
I had a sense of something poignant. I wrote a line with no time left to say it. I had a memory of a way to know the things that you don't know on the day one press the button. Confess to something, I got nothing left but a novel in the pocket, can't touch the breast. See the dust, the press. rest, well, it's really different. It's really beautiful. It's so antagonist, so imaginative that I can't trust it. As far as I throw it, as much as I know, we need more time to redo the procedure, repair all the stitches with surgical methods and evidence built up in cases for years. Random access, memories appear in crystal palaces, to mirrors with Alice's, validated by gold from alchemists. Food for thought, squandered and lost. Recollections in a bowl of dust. Hold it up, the wind does this thing. The pollen and people and all of their scenes scattered to corners. The pacifist mourners can't utter another position that's worth even just a vendetta type symphony. Scanning lines and type it ain't instantly. Process, store witness. I've lost it, good riddance.
I am traveling down the spout. All you see is me circling drain. Time unraveling, patient doubt. Curse the drive, deserving the rain. Word to the flies, crochet in the web. A lesson one learns and never again. I'm always a pencil, never the pen. My efforts all erased again. If it weren't for the push you had given, would either of us be living? If it wasn't for the cuts and the rustic view, could we do much more than combust in truth? Rearing the crew in a natural depth, rattling cage feet, flaming steps. Is it finish or intercept? There's a rip between we can't cross yet. It's a different thing as we grow in progress, but it's letting wings can't take flight. Festering moments, I hold them as close as scar. My gossamer breast, so soothing in hard nights. If it weren't for the odd light drifting lens, would there still be a space in which we pretend? Would there still be a way for this bridge to mend? Or is your action face a rising trend? I am the herald of endings again. You are the suffering, stuttering friend who didn't want more than touching the crest. What a fake whirlwind compressing my chest. Baleful moments, I felt at my lowest. Every tear that composed thus frozen sea. There's now encompassed all of me. I am traveling down the spout. All you see is me circling train. Time unraveling, patient doubt. Curse the dram, deserving the rain. Word to the flash, crocheted in the web. A lesson one learns and never again. I'm always a pencil, never the pen. My efforts all erased.
Wow. Let the beat ride out. Okay. Okay. That was one, man, where if you're not paying attention, there are a lot of bars and lyrics and a few lines in there where, like I said, if you're not paying attention, they'll go right over your head. You know what I mean? Like, they'll go right over your head. So, well done. That's a very strong way to end off a project as well. That's a pretty crazy last track for a project. All right. You guys know the drill. We're gonna talk about three things. We're gonna talk about the instrumental. We're gonna talk about vocals. And we're gonna talk about the overall theme of Spirit of the Spout. Instrumental. A very interesting instrumental, but it's very well put together. The sound selection is very interesting, but I feel like everything complements each other. But the mix itself is really solid. The snare in particular is nice. The melodies are super well done. I feel like both sets of vocals are like super well done as well. No real gripes when it comes down to the instrumental mix. I mean, the production's like very strong is the way I want to put it. Very strong. So yeah, nothing I could really gripe about, to be honest with you, especially in terms of like levels or anything like that. Nothing I could like really really point out there, to be honest with you. So instrumental mix solid. Instrumental shining star on the other hand. Shit. Because like drums are up there, right? Melodies are definitely up there. Structure is pretty underrated. You could definitely like, miss out on structure. Damn. I feel like the melodies really bring that like serious kind of energy though. Like, it really makes you kind of, like, lock in. I feel like melodies are definitely up there. Yeah, let's go melodies. I feel like the melodies really bring the mood on this one, for sure. So, instrumental solid, definitely the melodies. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix. So, Wormwood Noah has had a very consistent vocal mix since their very first submission here on the show. That doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Again, simple, straight to the point, but still very crisp, clean. Levels are solid. Has like this like sweet spot amount of effects, right? Especially like the reverb and everything. And like it hits a nice sweet spot, but it's not like really overdone for the style. So, with that said, it's a very consistent vocal mix so far. So nothing super clashy, too overbearing per usual. Drums cut through nicely. Vocals sit nice. Nothing to really gripe about in terms of vocals here, to be honest with you. Not at all. Um Vocal Shining Star on the other hand. Damn. Again, like everything's very like solid, you know? I think for this one you gotta go writing though. To be real with you. I mean flow and cadence and delivery is up there, especially like more towards like the last half of the track. You're really like like you're just fucking locked in. Um But I think writing and lyrics still though, like there's plenty of bars and lyrics here that could just go right over your head if you're not paying attention, like I said. So let's go writing and lyrics on this one. So instrumental solid, definitely the melodies. Vocal solid, definitely the writing and lyrics. Let's talk theme. This is track 4 off of Mirth, a 4-track EP by the homie Wormwood Noah. And I spoke a little bit about this cover before, but again, it gives a like a really solid like early 2000s like Underwater, Fruitager Arrow kind of almost Y2K sort of vibe as well. But with the font that was used, it's got that like magazine cutout kind of feel to it as well. So I feel like something like that is always like a really solid choice, 100%. But for a small EP like this, I feel like this fucking nailed it for sure. So aesthetics definitely on point. Overall theme, this is a pretty loaded track, to be honest with you, and it only clocks in at 248. But this is one where you got to spin it back a couple times and really like absorb the bars here for sure. And then I feel like Wormwood kind of really touched on this as well, pretty nicely. The song's title and hook are a reference to the nursery rhyme "Itsy Bitsy Spider," except to where the spiders and life is a spout. And I feel like they both gave their perspectives on that. So I think they did a really good job kind of breaking that down, but also like still getting a little loose with it, and showing what they can do on an instrumental like this. So, well done, my friends. Well done. Huge shout out to Wormwood Noah. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify, by the way. And make sure you go follow Noah on Twitter. They're only 8 followers away from 1K. That's a W fucking milestone. Go get them to 1K, man. That's actually a great milestone. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love, baby. Get it. Even though the Braves suck this year. By the way, dog, I don't know if you talk about the beat competition, but if I got time for that shit, I'm going to. Oh yeah, no, yeah. I spoke about it for like 20 minutes today, but there'll be a video that goes up Thursday where I kind of break it down. But again, if you have any questions, just make sure you ask in the Discord. But once signups are closed next week, long story short, everybody's gonna have 5 days to cook with the loop that we provide you. So you have plenty of time to cook over 5 days, and then it'll be a 3-day voting period. So it'll be like a Friday to like Monday voting period thing, and then everybody will advance to round 2, and then round 3, and then so on and so forth. But yeah, super simple. But again, if you have any questions, make sure you ask in the Music Mondays Discord. But you guys know the drilly, man. We're about halfway through the show, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we return, we're going to dive right back into the rest of our community submissions. So with that said, make sure you get up, go get a snack, go get a drink, go get a water, maybe go get a smoke, maybe go walk the dog or anything like that. And when we return, like I said, we're going to dive into the rest of the community submissions. Now, question. I'm down. Shoot. I'm definitely down. I like sound design the loop and change it. Can I use it too? Yeah, you can pretty much do whatever you want with a loop, realistically. As long as it is used. Yeah. No, like I mean, don't get all like freestyle with it. But yeah, you like as long as the loop is used, you can add melodies on it. You can kind of reverse it. You can kind of do what you want with it. You know what I mean? As long as it is used. No, off chance that, maybe somebody like submits a beat that doesn't sound like it's used or anything like that, then we'll just ask for like the project file or something. Screenshot it type shit, As long as you can hear it, right. Yeah, like it doesn't have to be like super like just that, because like I said, you can add melodies to it, you can slow it down. Because like it says in the rules, realistically, there's no genre restrictions. Some of you guys might be going up like a against like an EDM beat versus like a trap beat, or what do you guys might use the same loop for like a trap beat and XYZ. The habit of like flipping shit like crazy. Yeah, no, that should be fine, Pez. Yeah, no, it should be fine. Just make it like distinguishable within the track, and you'll be good to go. You can add stuff to it, right? Exactly. Like big thing. Just make sure you do use the loop at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much like the big thing there. Is as long as you're using the loop, you'll be good to go. After that, it's pretty much in your hands, because that's why we didn't like restrict the genre, or we didn't make any crazy rules or anything like that, because this is just like a test run for sure. So big thing is, as long as you're using the loop, you'll be all good. But yeah, quick commercial break, and we'll be back to dive into the rest of the community submissions, because we got some bangers up next. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live with this podcast episode 238. Hope you had a good break. Hope you're chilling. Hope you're vibe-a-roonian, but it's time for us to get back into our community submissions. I'll stream that shit. You definitely gotta stream that shit, my friend. 100% stream that shit. That'd be fire. For sure. We left off with the homie Wormwood Noah. Up next would be the homie Jordan, but we've already reacted to Jordan earlier in the show. So make sure you check out the beginning of episode 238 and go show Jordan and all of our Music Mondays Patreons some love. But up next is a very, very talented multi-genre producer by the name of Ghost coming through with some more unreleased. I am down. I am down for the cause. Now, Ghost has a stack in the vault currently, and their submissions as of late have been fucking insane. So I have no doubt this will follow in line. For sure. So, Nightfall, unreleased Ghost, co-prod the homie Rick. Let's get into it. I'm down.
You're a wizard.
Unreleased album beat. Let's get a Ghost. A little unreleased. Yeah. Holy shit. Shout out to homie Rick, man. You need the melody on this one? The build-up's about to be crazy. Wow. Go, man. Wow. Sample is fucking crazy too. Bill is mid. I learned how to do better ones now. It's still suitable for the album. Oh yeah, no, it's fire for sure. I fuck with it. Yep. For people that are used to this being sold, I learned a lot since. Yeah, right. One of those vaulted ones. Yeah, for sure. A little something for the vault. A little something for the vault. Okay. All right. You guys know the drilly. So, let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's get into it. So, obviously, no vocals. We're gonna be talking about two things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, and we're gonna talk about the overall theme of this track. So, instrumental mix, really fucking solid. You know, despite it being a little bit older, or even compared to some of Ghost's newer stuff, I feel like this mix again is very much on point. Not really a shocker for us over here at the Music Mondays podcast, but for anybody new who's listening or watching, this is a very consistent mix, so not really a shocker, but something you always want to point out for, anybody new here, right? So as far as the mix goes, absolutely fantastic, especially with the drums and the sound selection. And man, yeah, mix is definitely on point. Definitely on point 100%. So instrumental mix, definitely solid. Instrumental shining star. There's a lot I like about this. There's a real lot I like about this. So, first things first is the drums, especially the percussion and the sound selection. I love the drums. I think the structure is something that you could like overlook while talking about the drums and the melody, but how it's structured out again is very, very solid. Kind of takes you on a story. So I'm leaning towards either of those two, but uh hmm. You know, realistically, I think I'm gonna go drums here. Even though I do love the structure and how the samples used, I think the drums and the sound selection and the percussion, specifically, I think was really well done. So let's go drums for this one for sure. So instrumental solid, definitely drums. Let's talk theme. Obviously, unreleased instrumental for a future project, but co-prod Rick, titled Nightfall. It really does give that like nighttime, almost like church at night kind of feel. A little bit spooky, but not like Halloween spooky. It's a little bit more darker than that. And I feel like that sample was really well utilized. So Nightfall is like a really solid fucking name for this, because it did give that like, church at night, abandoned kind of like analog sort of feel, It definitely felt like somebody's going to spit some crazy shit on this, or even just like as an instrumental in itself. It really hit the mark for that mood. It definitely did. So, well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to the homie Ghost, and huge shout out to the homie Rick. Make sure you go follow Ghost on Twitter, by the way. Ghost is only 9 followers away from 540. So make sure you go show him some love over there in the bird at my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. So make sure you go show these artists in the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. Structure will be changed a bit from now. Yeah, true. Arkham Knight Nightfall Protocol. Yeah, right, Pez. Yeah, no, for sure. It definitely has that like spooky bit going on there, for sure. My name pick was crazy back then. Nah, I just don't name the beats. I like that one a lot. I think Nightfall fits like really solid on that one. I just put BPM co-prod and who it's for, right. So let's see. Let's off the homie Ghost. Up next is the homie Black Brains, aka Slug Boys ENT. Now, a very, very talented hip hop multi-genre producer came through with a track titled Jet Lag. It's been a couple of weeks since we heard from them, so I'm down. Let's pop this, open a new tab. Let's see what we got. It's a pretty stacked list on here for who's involved. So we got the homie Black Brains and Wesley Rocco. The last track we heard from Wesley was fucking crazy. So, like, man. This will be very interesting. So when did this drop actually? 2025? This gotta be like super new, right? August 1st, 2025. So quite literally at the time of recording, only 10 days old. I cooked, bro. Yeah, shut up, Fez. Let's get me. Oh shit. But let's get into it. Wesley, Black Brains, Jet Lag, go. Pez listening in. Let's get it, baby.
Slugs never die.
Yeah, all day blowing on. I'm about my bread like burgers. All day blowing on yerba. Up my side, bitch, double D's, and they soft as a Serta. Met her on the gram. My joint weigh 3 grams. Get her hot than the flight attendant. I'm getting here when we land. Party till 5 a.m. Double parked in the Lamb. Okay, bitch, I'm bored. Now it's time to go back to your man. Still going, no stopping. After party in the lobby. Careful
for with that champagne, this shirt from Versace. All this loud, that's medical. Breakfast, I eat edibles. All day, wake and bake. Airport, I might vape. V12, let's race. 200 on the dash. 100 pounds in the stash. Paper planes and no jet lag. Bitch, jet lag, no jet lag. Paper planes and no jet lag. Bitch. 100 in the stash. Paper planes and no jet lag. Bitch. Lag, no jet lag. Paper planes and no jet lag. Paper planes and no jet lag. Bitch.
So much smoke up in my lungs, stay high as fuck in the clouds of fun. Early
Oh,
flight with the
shit.
rising sun, I wake and bake and the day's begun. Smoke the tree so easily, no sticks, no seeds, just THC. You ain't a boss, you wanna be. I'm the flyest out, that's plain to see. No mistake, we innovate, taking risks, never hesitate. Soaring high, trying to elevate. You at the gate, still hella late. Cruising the sky, giving the vibes, thinking that she wanna go for a ride. Pimpin' sublime, one of a kind. My Mac will take any bitch mile high. Yeah, we out the stratosphere, so loud and clear. This be our year. Leveled up from lanes and piers, we taking off like the Rocketeer. Looking
Damn.
down on y'all below, did it all with bars and flows. Cooking clowns, we on the blow. It's known now, I'm a star for show. Stay front page on articles. I'm big fish, y'all barnacles. Conquer any obstacles, so locked in, remarkable. Always flying higher, adding more fuel to the fire. Stay chasing my desires, going farther every triumph. Yeah.
Jet lag, no jet lag. Paper
What the
planes and no
fuck?
jet lag. Bitch.
100 in the stash. Paper planes and no jet lag. Bitch.
Jet lag, no jet lag. Paper planes and no jet lag. Bitch.
100 in the stash. Paper planes and no jet lag. Bitch.
What the fuck? Okay, that was stacked. Wesley Rocco, Black Brains featuring Juicy J. That's a pretty crazy collab, I'm not gonna lie. That is a pretty fucking crazy collab, holy shit. That cover is gold though, I definitely like this cover. Checking out the baddies for sure. Checking out the baddies. I might remix this shit, that'd be fire, Pez. But what a track. That is fucking stacked. Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's get into it. So we're gonna talk about three things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, we're gonna talk about vocals, and we're gonna talk about the overall theme of jet lag. So, instrumental. First off, the mix is fucking flawless. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. Everybody's vocals sound fantastic. Drums hit nice, 808's great, sound selection's great. Everything cuts through nicely. I mean, really no gripes on this one at all. Definitely not. Definitely not. Especially in terms of quality, right? So, instrumental mix very much on point. Not really a shocker, especially with Black Brains and, you know, a lot of their recent submissions, you know, everything that I can really think of has just been mixed to a T. So, not a shocker, but again, something you always want to point out for anybody new here, right? So, instrumental mix, definitely on point. Instrumental Shining Star. This one's kind of tough. Melodies are up there. Structure's definitely up there. But I think this one's going to take the drums, man. I think drums take the cake here. I'm not going to lie. I think the drums are really up there. Especially the sound selection. But you could argue a few other things, but let's go drums on this one. For sure. So, instrumental solid, definitely drums. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix. You know, Juicy J, obviously self-explanatory. Wesley Rocco. This is an artist, again, who we've reacted to quite a few times here on the show at this point. But everybody's vocals sounded really solid. Levels were good. Verse transitions were good. I mean, nothing to really ultimately gripe about, especially for like this sort of like classic trap, like modern style. Yeah, nothing really comes to mind that I would ultimately switch, you know, especially the mix, crisp, clean, straight to the point, but not like too overdone. You know what I mean? So, vocal mix, definitely up there. Vocal Shining Star. I mean, what? It's got to be writing, right? Or nah, flow and cadence and delivery though. I was gonna say writing, but hold up, flow and cadence and delivery though. Yeah, I feel like everybody really slid on this. Yeah, let's go flow and cadence and delivery for sure. That one was just obvious for me. So, instrumental solid, definitely drums, vocal solid, flow, cadence, delivery. Let's talk theme, jet lag, aesthetics. You know, you guys actually got a kick out of this cover, and I did too actually. This one kind of has that like anime kind of like you know, just like meme kind of feel, but it's like nothing that is like too overdone. It's still very simple and like, gets the job done in terms of quality. And for something like a single, absolutely solid. Absolutely fucking solid for sure. And then you stash the parental advisory bottom right, title and artist top left. I mean, really gets the job done in my opinion. And the colors are solid too, especially for a track titled Jet Lag, right? I mean, the blues and the whites kind of stick out as far as like an airliner or like a commercial kind of feel that sticks out, right? So aesthetics definitely on point. Overall theme for Jet Lag, pretty self-explanatory, right? I mean, flying, living that kind of like artist lifestyle, or even just like popular lifestyle, or really busy lifestyle at the end of the day, and dealing with jet lag in itself, definitely blows. So I feel like they all touched on, that to some degree, but also, this is one where you got to take in the writing and lyrics and appreciate what both of them did on this track. So, well done, my friends. Well done. Huge shout out to Wesley Blackbrains, and make sure you go show him some love on Spotify, by the way. And of course, make sure you go follow Slugboys ENT on Twitter. They are approaching 1.7K on the Bird app, so make sure you go show them some love over there on Twitter. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and all that good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. If you already have, thank you, my friends. Let's go. Alrighty. So, we left off with the homie Blackbrains. Up next is the homie Most Dope Kimon. Now, Kimon, again, has had a stellar fucking summer between multiple projects, features, plenty of visuals, music videos. But Kimon, being a very talented multi-genre hip-hop artist, came through with a visual for March Madness Freestyle. Now, as of recently, we've done some audio for Kimon, but it's been a second since we've done a visual. So, I'm down. Let's see what we got here. Alright, let's give it a quick pause, Rooney. Let's see. So, uploaded on the Lovely Boy Flex YouTube channel 10 days ago. So, super, super new. I'm down. Frauds in description. Got the Kimon down below. All right, let's get into it. Full screen, Most Dope Kimon, March Madness Freestyle Visualizer. Let's go. I believe this is off their recent project as well. So this will be interesting. Let's go. Let's go, man. Damn. Kimon coming through again. See, with that being just a visual, I see the vision because it's just this like one shot visual, and I feel like that's so creative because it's like you don't see a lot of people do all that in one take, you know? And it just still came out like really solid. So let's talk about it, man. I was expecting the future beat, but this fire too. Let's go, Pez. Shout out Kimon, man. So we're gonna be talking about three things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, we're gonna talk about vocals, and we're gonna talk about the official visual for March Madness. Instrumental. Again, I love Kimon's instrumental choice just because they have such a specific choice, and I talk about this every chance I get. But you know, their flavor of instrumental is very specific, and the ones that they do hop on are so like it's so specific that you can only see like Kimon on these types of instrumentals, or like, you know, Kimon's kind of flavor on it, right? So but instrumental mix again, very solid, especially for that like, you know, multi-genre plug and be, you know, trap-esque kind of feel there, you know, and even pushing the lines of pop there too, like, you know, some degree. But yeah, no, mix it solid, nothing like super clashy to overbearing, nothing I would like really switch up here. Sound selection was good. Kimon sounds good on it. Nothing that I would like super switch up on this. I feel like the drums really shine too, but instrumental mix definitely solid for where it's at. Instrumental shining star. You know, probably the drums, but the drums are definitely up there, but I feel like the melodies are up there too. Like the melodies really stand out on this one. Let's go drums just because I do like the 808. You know what I mean? I really do like the 808s. Let's go drums here. So instrumental solid. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix. I don't know what it is about these vocals here, but they're almost like a higher quality. And I doubt that Kimon kind of changed their mixing style. So I feel like sometimes, you know, when you're recording, you just get really good takes, or it really depends on the instrumental too, because some instrumentals work really well with your vocals like off rip, and then some instrumentals need a little bit of a tweaking. You know what I mean? So I think for some reason this one came together like a puzzle piece, and Kimon's vocals are very clear, but still keeping that Kimon kind of flavor. So vocal mix very much on point. I enjoyed that a lot. Vocal shining star on the other hand, you know, I kind of want to go writing and lyrics here, but flow and cadence and deliveries up there. The writing and lyrics though are just fun. They're very summer like, but they're also still very Kimon. So let's go writing and lyrics on this one. Let's go writing and lyrics for sure. So instrumental solid, definitely the drums. Vocal solid, definitely the writing and lyrics. Let's talk about the visual for March Madness. The 808 hit for sure. I agree, Ghost. I agree. Definitely stood out for me. So the visual. One thing I loved about this is it's still fully edited. You know, you have all these like slow-mo shots, and, you know, Kimon's getting tatted at the start. You know, so I feel like a lot of this was still really well done. But the one shot of just like a whole video and no cuts or anything like that, this is probably one of the first times that we've seen that from Kimon. I feel like we've seen it like once or twice, but in this fashion where Kimon really like films a video all the way through for one track, no cuts, I feel like we need a little bit more of this from artists. Like I really like this one a lot. You know, obviously it depends on your sound and your vision and whatnot, but something like this, man, I feel like really stands out. And, you know, again, very chill to film, not like too demanding or anything like that. And all you need is a little bit of like creativity and imagination when it comes to editing, you know, and you really get something super solid like this. That's what I really like about this one, you know. And again, like Kimon doesn't really classify them as music videos, right? But you know, for a visual, this one definitely hit the nail on the head for me. Shining Star is definitely the editing here, you know, because even though it is like a one-shot visual, I do feel like the editing brought this to like the next level. It's about the small stuff, right? Like the filters, the text on the screen, the slow-mo. The editing really brought it to the next level, you know? So, well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to the homie Kimon. Make sure you go sub to their all channel over here on YouTube. They're only 8 subs away from 30. And of course, make sure you go follow Kimon on Twitter, by the way. They're only 8 followers away from 30. So make sure you go show them some love on the Bird app. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload, my friends. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, all that good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. Well done. Come on, coming through again, man. The edit made it good? Yeah, for sure. For sure. The edit like brought it from like here to like here, you know? Totally. I agree. Alright, my friends. Up next is a very talented producer, engineer, designer, writer, editor, Offspring Mysterious. Now, recently they've been adding to their Walking Onslaught's YouTube series, and this week they came through with a brand new upload titled In My Room. Last week's upload was actually really funny, so this one will definitely be interesting for sure. I'm down. I'm definitely down. All right, let's get into it. Offspring Mysterious, In My Room, full volume 720. Let's go. Comments and description, or comments down below. Description solid. Interesting. Okay, so this will be very, very interesting. All right, I'm down. Let's get into it. Offspring Mysterious, In My Room. Let's go. Cover's actually really sick. Mysterious. Let's get it, Offspring. Welcome on in, my friend. What the fuck? Gamer Rage. This is smart. Two perspectives, right? Lacing up. Cause you got a hentai hoodie on. The Offspring staple, baby. Shit. Are we really locked in? What the fuck? Hell no. The liquor is genius. Shit. Hey, bro, what the fuck are you doing? He's still jamming. He's like, bro, the door was stuck. Wow. Well done. Well done. See, that was one of the more longer kind of concepts, right? But I feel like something like that actually paid off, right? It felt like a filler episode almost, like in between like what Offspring is doing with like a lot of the main storylines, right? And then like incorporating like the music video segment in there, like directly in the middle. Again, really, really well done. You know, it kind of brought the story to like a little bit of a pause for a second, but also kind of gears you up for the next Offspring upload. Actually, I'm pretty sure this was like super new. This came out, oh yeah, literally like 3 or 4 days ago. So yeah, very, very new. Um, so again, this is one where it makes you excited to see what Offspring is gonna do next when it comes down to the Walking Onslaught's kind of storyline, and then like compared to like the last upload as well with the house husband application, that was funny. So yeah, Offspring's really going out of their element and like really trying new things, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. So again, I would say Shining Star here is probably the concept again. Offspring's really been in the studio and really just in the kitchen cooking some of these short stories and some of these concepts, and then really getting artsy with a lot of the angles and the way it's edited and things like that. So I feel like Offspring's really going in a good direction with all of this. So super well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to Offspring Mysterious. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you go subscribe to Offspring Mysterious, by the way. They're only 10 subs away from 250. And of course, make sure you go follow Offspring Mysterious on Twitter. They're only 7 followers away from 820. Make sure you go show them some love over there on the Bird app. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked to the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel. We upload 2 times per week. We're only like 8 subs away from 330. Every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and all that good jazz over there on the channel. So make sure you go show these artists and that channel some love. Let's get it, baby. And if you already have, thank you. We appreciate you here at Music Mondays. Now, this is so ad, bro. Turn it off. Who is this bad guy? Man, I have no idea. Shit. Okay. So, we left off with the homie Offspring Mysterious. Up next is the homie Pez. Now, Pez, a multi-genre, very talented producer, came through with a track titled 404 featuring Safe Travels. Now, I'm down. Let's see what we got here. Let's open a new tab. Let's go see what Pez has been up to. It's been a little while since we heard from Pez, so I'm definitely excited to see what we have cooking here. Prod mix and mastered by me. Thank you, Safe Travels, for getting on this. Shout out Safe Travels. Let's get it. August 7th. So again, super new. Like a lot of the stuff tonight was like hot off the press. We barely got any like older releases. So well done. But let's get into it. Pez, Safe Travels, 404. Let's go. Oh shit.
My brother told me, nigga, watch the back door. They out for motion, folk don't fold you go. I need my soul for my own. You can get fractured, bro. I'm acting alone. We take your land and then we snatch your gold. Just wrist ain't coat from mask, lash to your soul. My lady told me I was Aggie for sure. Yeah, did she mad at me or mad at her folks? In disbelief, I should have fallacy, whoa. I know she's scheming, I ain't mad at her for it. I ain't mad at her for it. 3 in the morning in the battle with the brash and the torches. You the reason 12 no ask for informants. I'm polymorphous, play the preacher and the master supporter. Nevertheless, I'm in the back and I'm snoring. Too sleep, loosely, better watch where I step. I got demons too, they know me the best. I'm out in Houston where we two-stepping, no aim for the chest. Bust a maneuver like a truant. Skip at school and then I'm back where I left. But that's just not what I need. Need me a London cause I'm feeling like Weezy. The block is hot like Equinox, a young thug for their freedom. Season's greetings when we slide like I was being facetious. 1,000 deep like we was marching for freedom. Feel like I'm not in my prime. Say me the bit of this nigga. You not a challenge like cinnamon. 6th dimension, my vision. Wouldn't expect you to get it. I told the line between physicists and militant. Ceiling ain't a ceiling if I never had to live with it. Bobby still my nigga, I'm a weapon for the linen is. Only operate to protect the women and children, my nigga, I gotta get it. I'm hungry but never finished it full.
Damn.
Gotta get it, man.
Holy shit. Wow. Wow. The writing on that was just fucking nuts, but then you add in like the Pez production and it's like, holy shit. You know, that's a really solid collab, and especially like under 2 minutes, clocking in at like 1:58. Every single inch of space was taken up there. That was really well done. Very well done. Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. So we're gonna talk about 3 things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, and we're gonna talk about vocals, and we're gonna talk about the overall theme of 404. So, instrumental, obviously prod, mixed and mastered by Pez. Fantastic. Really love the instrumental because it keeps a lot of the mud and the grit, but it's not really affecting the quality of the mix, right? Which is a very interesting thing to do, especially if you know production from any sort of value or angle. You know, keeping that mud in, but not really muddying the mix is like very important. I feel like Pez really mastered that on this one, so nothing to really super gripe about. I mean, all of Pez's releases have been really well mixed, especially like everything within the last like 2 or 3 submissions have been really top notch. Not really a shocker that the mix is like really solid, but something I always want to point out for anybody new here, right? So instrumental mix definitely up there for sure. Instrumental Shining Star. Now, this one's kind of interesting. Probably, oh man, I don't know. Because the drums are up there, right? But I feel like the melodies really bring that like serious, almost like OG, like kind of like gangsta style, but like not really. It has a very interesting mix when it comes down to the melodies as far as like sounds. But you could really like talk about the drums too, right? So, and then there's like structure and shit. Yeah, this one's kind of tough when it comes down to the instrumental. Truthfully, I kind of want to go drums though. I'm being really honest with you. I think I'm gonna go drums on this one, 100%. I feel like you could argue the melodies too and the structure, but let's go drums. So instrumental solid. Let's talk vocals. Safe Travels. So this is the first time that we've ever reacted to Safe Travels. So again, you know, with the first impressions, a very gritty but solid mix. It doesn't really affect quality or anything like that. It doesn't affect levels, but it does bring it to like this almost serious, almost like OG style that, you know, it's just very gritty. It almost reminds me a little bit of like New York, a little sort of in that realm. But as far as quality goes, nothing I could like super gripe about when it comes down to the mix. Nothing super clashy, too overbearing. Drums cut through nicely. Vocals definitely sit nice. Has that like radio analog kind of feel. Yeah, no like ultimate gripes with the vocals at all, to be honest with you. So vocal mix right where it needs to be. Vocal Shining Star. So this one's interesting because if I don't pick writing here, I feel like that's insane. Because even reading along with the lyrics, some of the writing was just so creative, just so creative and very serious writing too. But also like you have those like, you know, cinnamon challenge bar and like there's a couple bars in here that are just like funny, but ultimately it's a very serious kind of not really braggadocious, but more so like a very serious mood kind of track, you know. So I'm gonna go writing and lyrics on this one for sure. So instrumental solid. Definitely the drums, vocal solid, definitely the writing and lyrics, a stock theme, aesthetics, simple but straight to the point kind of cover, man. Got the jersey in the back, and kind of like one of those like off guard pics that you take, or like you just have like shit like laying on your bed and has like, you know, just a good aesthetic to it. You know, you just snap a photo like this, especially for like one off singles and shit. I feel like stuff like this is super fucking solid. Because again, sometimes the track doesn't really call for art or it's not really part of the vision or anything like that. But you want to go the IRL route. I think shit like this always hits the nail on the head. Again, especially for a single. So super well done, 100%. Aesthetics definitely on point. Overall theme 404. I wouldn't dive into like a super deep theme here. This is one where I really appreciate the writing and lyrics of Safe Travels, and then the mix of Pez's production. Not one that I would like really dig for a theme on. And again, you just gotta appreciate how these two kind of came together on this one for sure, 100%. So, well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to Pez. Make sure you go follow them on Bandcamp, by the way, and of course, make sure you go follow Pez on Twitter. They are only 7 followers away from 280. So make sure you go show them some love on the Bird app. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube free upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists in the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. ATL 404 and the hardware is SP 404. Oh yeah, so yeah, that makes sense then. Yeah. A little like subtle meaning there. I like that, Fez. Let's get it, baby. I like that. Well done. Very well done, my friend. Let's go. Okay, so we left off with the homie Pez. Fantastic submission. Up next is the homie Dinez Dennis. Now, they submitted a track way earlier before it dropped, and they actually came back and dropped the link, so I'm down. Now, Dinez being a multi-genre talented artist, we've seen, you know, them kind of dive into a couple of different styles, but this week they submitted Rewind. Drops August 8th, 2025. I'll be back with a link if that counts. Of course it counts, 100%. Submissions don't officially close up until the Monday of, so you have like 6 or so days to get your tracks in, regardless. So, Rewind by the homie Dennis. Let's go see what we got here. August 8th, so again, hot off the press. Super, super new. Man, everything tonight has been like damn near new. Just about everything, huh? Wow. Shit, alright, I'm down. Dennis, Rewind, let's go.
Riding with country bear. Country bear.
My baby was a real one. My baby was a she. Unlike the mothers. If you know me, then you know.
Damn.
If there ever was a problem, coming through with the big guns, hitting like a bulldozer. If you know me, then you know. Baby, when we were together, it was alright with you by my side. And I don't know if we can get back, but I really wanna go back. Tell me, how do we go back? I want my baby. Ooh, please tell me that. I wanna go back. I don't wanna go back. I don't want to go back. Would you help me? Take me, baby. I miss my baby. I want my baby. Please tell me that. Demo my baby, baby. I really need my baby, baby. I don't know where we went wrong, but we've been gone too long. So far away, we were so close. Do-do-do-do. And I didn't see it coming, but I should have seen it coming. Unbreakable, or at least we were. I love you, I need you, baby. I love you, I do. And I don't know we can get back there, but I really wanna go back there. Tell me, how do we go back there? I want my baby. Please take me back. Please take me back. I know I can. Yeah, they know I'm a baby back. I really need my baby back. Oh, baby back. Bring my baby back. I know I can. They know I'm a baby back. Really need my baby back. Would you help me? Take me, baby. Damn, I want my baby, baby. Baby, baby. Really need my baby, baby. Oh. Damn, I want my baby, baby. Really need my baby, baby. Love me, take me. Baby, baby, baby. Bring my baby back. I wanna go back there. Oh, I know I can't go back there, but would you please take me? Oh, baby back. Bring my baby back. I know I can't. See, I know that I can't go back. But if I could go back, would you help me?
That was a journey. That was a fucking journey. Well done. Well done. It's that nice fresh R&B vibe, but it's still like so fast paced and very pop like as well, you know? Melody's cold. I agree. Drums are sick. Drums are very insane. Drums stick out instantly. I was like, oh my god. Um, but well done, my friend. Well done. Um, let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So, we're talking about three things here. We're talking about the instrumental. We're talking about vocals. And we're talking about the overall theme of Rewind. So, instrumental. Love the choice, especially for their style and how they like this R&B pop kind of fusion, right? This is something that they knew that they wanted to do, so I like the choice. It was a very like well curated instrumental, definitely. But the mix is great. Nothing like super clashy to overbearing. Nothing I would like really change about this at all. Speaking strictly on the instrumental, very tight, very well rounded. Levels are solid. Nothing that I would like really change about this at all. It's definitely hitting all the boxes for me, no doubt, no doubt. So, instrumental mix definitely on point. Instrumental shining star. It's got to be the drums. It's got to be the drums. I mean, the melodies are up there, but the drums and their patterns and how bouncy they are, and even the hats are just like whoa. It immediately catches your ear. So, for this one, I'm definitely gonna go drums, 100%. So, instrumental solid. Talk vocals again. Dinez is not really an artist who's had very shaky vocals or anything like that. They're a very melodic type of artist, and I like to dive into a lot of these moody types of instrumentals, and you really have to have an on-point mix for that. And throughout this whole track, I didn't notice any bumps or anything that I would like really change about this. Which again, for their last few submissions, is not really a shocker, but something you always want to point out, right? And I definitely feel like they have the proper engineer and the proper skill to kind of get that right when it comes down to this style of vocal, right? So very melodic, very pop like, very R&B like, but still like properly laying it down. So vocal mix very much on point. Vocal shining star. Probably the flow and cadence delivery. Such a melodic track, but still like hits hard. Yeah, flow and cadence and delivery all day for sure. Writing's up there, but let's go flow and cadence and delivery. So, instrumental solid, definitely drums. Vocal solid, definitely the flow and cadence and delivery. Let's talk theme. Aesthetics. A solid IRL cover. Sometimes you don't really see too many of these ones where they just blur the background and then they kind of like put the sauce on the front cover, right? So, you have the text in the top left, and then the Rewind logo on the top left, and then more text in the bottom right, and then the blurred background. Again, if you're going for like this IRL kind of flavor, I feel like this nails it, because you can just sprinkle on some sauce, kind of do whatever you want. And if you don't feel like doing art, or sometimes songs just don't really call for art, right? This is a really good way to go about things, especially with like the Back to the Future kind of inspired logo here. I feel like that was a good shout, especially for for a track titled Rewind. So aesthetics definitely on point. Overall theme, Rewind. Wanting to rewind time, or even quote unquote go back to the future. And I feel like we've all been there at least once or twice when it comes down to romantic relationships, or even just friendships, or just relationships in general. Wanting to go back time to like simpler times and whatnot. And that's definitely an idea that I feel like everybody's felt at least once in their life, or if not, you probably will. You know what I mean? So I feel like Dennis really did a good job kind of breaking this one down 100%. So well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to Dennis. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify, and of course, make sure you go follow them on Twitter as well, by the way. They are only 7 followers away from 870, so make sure you go show them some love on the bird, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. So make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. And if you already have, thank you. We appreciate you here at Music Mondays. Well done, my friends. Well done. That does conclude all of our submissions for episode 238 of the Music Mondays podcast. We had a stacked fucking show tonight. So let's give some shout outs, let's show some love, and let's close her out. So you guys know the drillio. So per usual, huge shout out to everybody in the chat tonight. Make sure we show you guys some love, and which you guys are fucking fantastic. Huge shout out to everybody that came through, showed love, even if you just learned and chilled, man. I greatly appreciate it, and thank you for supporting the show. Huge shout out to the homie Ghost. Huge shout out to the homie Pez. Huge shout out to the homie Offspring Mysterious and everybody else that came through and learned and chilled. We peaked at about 10, 11 tonight, which again is a pretty good average for the show. So much love, my friends. Big W, definitely Ghost. Definitely a big W. Huge shout out to everybody that did submit tonight as well. Huge shout out to all of our Music Mondays Patreons. TDG, Jordan, King Mark, Ryuki, Kruger, and Laveries. You guys are fucking fantastic. And a huge shout out to everybody that did submit as well from the community. Huge shout out to the homie Lucha Libro, TDG, the homie Peter, Wormwood, Jordan, Ghost, Black Brains, Emon, Offspring, Pez, and the homie Dennis. Thank you guys so much for all of your submissions. Much love. If you'd like to submit for next week's show, episode 238, make sure you follow us, or 239. Sorry, I apologize. If you'd like to submit for episode 239, submissions will be live tomorrow, August 12th. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this anywhere else, submissions are already open. So make sure you go and drop your links and portfolios below. Per usual, the week will still be stacked. Articles on Friday, submissions live tomorrow, submissions live Wednesday for SoundCloud Sunday, new YouTube upload on Thursday, and of course the big event going on right now is Battle of the Beats 2025. So make sure you go sign up for our free competition, our bracket style beat tournament, first of its kind here at Music Mondays. Make sure you join our Discord or follow us on socials to stay up to date with all of the Battle of the Beats 2025 information. The signups are still available all week, and you'll see us kind of yap about that throughout the whole week. So that'll be the big thing here at Music Mondays. And then next week, the tournament officially starts. So I'll be excited, man. I'm very excited to see how that turns out. But again, per usual, make sure you follow Music Mondays on all socials, and you can stream the Music Mondays podcast wherever you enjoy podcasts, anchor.fm/allmusicmondays, or you can go support our Patreon, patreon.com/music_Mondays. And of course, make sure you go follow us on social media at All Music Mondays, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, Tumblr, wherever you're at, we are there. Make sure you follow us on your preferred social media. Stay up to date. And of course, make sure you follow me, subscribe below, everything linked below. I stream quite literally 5-6 days a week, more watch party jazz, more events. We're always in here kicking it, man. So make sure you come through and chill with the kid once in a while. And per usual, again, much love to everybody that submitted, tuned in, and showed love for tonight's episode. As soon as the show goes off air, we'll be deciding the top 3 of episode 238. Make sure you follow us on Twitter for that update. And of course, it's been your boys on Slaves, man. This is episode 238 of the Music Mondays podcast. I love you all. Take care. Be safe. We'll see you tomorrow for a regular stream. We'll see you next week for episode 239. I love you all. Take care. Be safe. And I'll see you tomorrow.